Good morning, student. This is a short video on the Viva on the ovary. Ovary is a female gonads which produces the ovum on every month almost, okay, of the menstrual cycle. At the end of the menstrual, in the mid of the menstrual cycle on 14th day, an ovum comes out of the ovary. Before we go to the ovary and the viva on the ovary, let us see the orientation of this specimen. This is the pubic symphysis, this is the urinary bladder, this is the vagina, this is the cervix, and this is the uterus. Okay, this is the rectum is here. Okay. If we see in the hemisection on the lateral side, that is on the right side, we will see this double fold of the peritoneum, that is the broad ligament of the uterus. So this is the broad ligament of the uterus, and on the upper border of the broad ligament of the uterus, this is the fallopian tube is here. Okay, I hope that you are able to see this fallopian tube on the upper free margin of the broad ligament. This is the fimbriated end of the tube. And then this is the ovary, which is on the posterior aspect of the broad ligament. So, whenever you are facing an examiner, he may begin the question on ovary that the identify the ovary. So, you should search the ovary on the lateral side, okay, of the uterus where the broad ligament, and then go on to the posterior aspect of this broad ligament, and below the fallopian tube you should see a swelling which is an almond shaped swelling, and this is the ovary. So then you should say that this is the ovary. He may ask you what is the shape of the ovary. You can say that it is an almond shaped ovary, and this is in its normal size of the ovary. If you will see, this is about 4 centimeter long. See this, the length of this ovary is about 4 centimeter, its width is about 2 centimeter, and then its thickness will be about 1 centimeter. So it is by 4 by 2 by 1 centimeter in its dimension. Okay, then the examiner may ask a question, what is the mesovarium? The mesovarium is a fold of the peritoneum by which the ovary is attached onto the posterior surface of the broad ligament. Let us see. This is the anterior surface of the broad ligament, and onto the free upper margin, this is the fallopian tube is here, and if you go to the posterior surface of the broad ligament here, you can see that ovary is attached to the posterior surface of broad ligament by this fold of peritoneum, and this is called as the mesovarium. So it is attached to the mesovarium. Then the next question which may come from examiner is that what is mesovarium? Okay, the mesovarium is a short peritoneal fold by which ovary is attached to the posterior surface of the broad ligament. So this is a short peritoneal fold by which the ovary is attached onto the posterior surface of that of the broad ligament here. Okay. The next question which an examiner may ask is what passes through this mesovarium? You can say that through this fold of the peritoneum, which is called as mesovarium, there passes the ovarian vessels, okay, to the hilum of the ovary, from where they enter to the ovary. Okay, so this is the ovarian artery which passes through it, and the ovarian vein will come out. Okay. Now, then he can ask what will be the, describe the external feature of the ovary. You can say that there are two poles of the ovary, okay, and in a multiparous woman, and these poles, they are slightly, say pointing, the upper pole, okay, is pointing towards the lateral side. So it has two poles, okay, in a multiparous woman, that is the superior pole, okay, or the lateral pole. Okay, superior pole is directed towards the lateral side, and it is attached to the suspensory ligament. Okay, this fold of the peritoneum is the suspensory ligament through which the ovarian vessel will come to the mesovarium. and the second pole is just opposite, and this is called as the inferior pole, okay, or the medial pole, okay. And in this inferior pole or the medial pole, if you will trace it, you will see a ligament, and that is the ligament of the ovary. See this ligament of the ovary starts from that of the lateral angle of the uterus at the junction of fundus and that of the body. So this is the ligament of the uterus is here. Ligament of the ovary is here. Then he may ask you to show the surfaces. There are two surfaces, a lateral surface, this one, which is pointing towards the lateral wall of the parietal peritoneum or to the lateral wall of the lesser pelvis, okay, in the ovarian fossa. And then there is a medial wall of the ovary which is close to the fallopian tube, just in relation to that of the fallopian tubes. Then he may ask you about to show the borders. You can show the borders. There is an anterior border and posterior border. You see this. The mesovarium where it is attached, it is the anterior border of the ovary, and the posterior border is the free border here. So this where the hilum is there and where mesovarium is attached, it is the anterior border, and that this rounded free border is the posterior border is there. After this many questions, he may ask you one or two last questions, and that may be in relation to the blood supply. What are the blood supply of the ovary? You may say that it is supplied by the ovarian artery, which, as I said, comes through that of the suspensory ligament. This ovarian artery takes origin directly from the abdominal aorta at the level of the lumbar 1 vertebrae. Then it comes through the suspensory ligament, and then this artery goes towards the mesovarium into the hilum of the ovary. The second artery which supplies to the ovary is the ovarian branch from that of the uterine artery, okay? And these two arteries, that is ovarian artery and the uterine artery, may anastomose with each other before entering into the hilum of the ovary, okay? Now last question may be that what are the functions of the ovary? You may say that since it is a gonad, okay, female gonad, its function is to just to produce every month a ovum, which is the female gametes. Second function, during the reproductive life of cell, from the puberty to the menopause age, it is producing the ovum each month. And then the second function of the ovary is to produce the hormones. Two different types of the hormones are produced by the ovary. One is during the menstrual cycle, at the time of the formation of the Graafian follicles, which secrete the ovarian estrogen, while after the ovulation the Graafian follicles ultimately changes into the luteal cells, okay, forming the corpus luteum, and corpus luteum is responsible for secretion of the progesterone. So both estrogen and progesterone, they are produced by the ovary. Okay, I hope that I have covered almost all the questions which may be asked by an examiner during a Viva onto the ovary. Thank you very much for watching this video.